Hello, welcome back to Hunter Tune. Today we're going to be doing some upgrades to the Barney Civic, and I wanted to bring you guys along for the ride and kind of show you what's been going on with the car and what I'm going to be doing to it. So currently the car is kind of all tore apart, and for some good reasons. So the last time I had this car running at the track, anyways, the last time we had the car at the racetrack, it ended up going 1060 at like 130 mile an hour or something like that. It was definitely down on power for the amount of boost it was on, and just kind of a couple things were wrong with the setup. So we had a boost leak on the intercooler I was telling you guys about. A21 Bravo actually patched it, and another issue that we had was the wastegate diaphragm and stuff was ripped. So I took it to the track after I fixed that, and I got a tile wastegate on the car, and I fixed the intercooler leak, and I brought it out there. Car made 43 pounds of boost, and hit the boost cut on one of the runs, and then the next couple runs I couldn't get more than 15 pounds out of it, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I ended up one of these little plugs on the tile wastegates ended up backing out on me. So when it backed out, it technically was kind of like it wasn't allowing the top port on the wastegate to actually push the diaphragm down to run more boost pressure. So I was like, man, I fucking couldn't find a plug, and I ended up just jamming a bolt in there for the time being. When I was at the track, just, you know, when you're at the track, just, you got to do what you got to do. And I just found a bolt in somebody's trailer, and I cross-threaded it into the gate, and I'm going to fix it now, actually, with tapping it and putting another plug in there. But for the time being at the track, I'm like, man, I really want this thing to fly, and I'm already here. You know, track was pretty good that day. So I tapped that bolt in there, and I chucked it all back together at the track. I had the intercooler off, I had everything off of the car. And while I was fixing it at the track, I ended up ripping the fucking wires out of the damn boost controller. So on the side there is where the wiring goes into the solenoid, and they ripped out because this was zipped. The solenoid was actually zip tied to the radiator, the intercooler here. So when I laid this back to pull the wastegate off, the wires were tugging, and I didn't think about it, and I messed up. So I have to put a new solenoid on the car now and redo some stuff. So I'm actually going to go with an excess power intercooler kit. I wanted to try one of these kits out just because it's a two-piece kit you can buy on eBay. So it has a one-piece intercooler pipe on this side, and then it has another one-piece kit for the cold side. And the only reason I'm doing this is just because I don't like the way the look of the backdoor intercooler for some reason. It's obviously the most simple because the turbo can literally go right into one side, and then I have one pipe going out here. But the problem is I had to like tilt my radiator a bunch of weird ways and whatever to get the piping to actually fit next to the radiator. So I didn't really like the setup personally. Obviously, if you got a race car and you could put a small radiator in it and whatever, I could do all that. But I wanted to try out a few new products. So that's what I'm doing. And I also got a new intercooler from VS Racing. So this is a big 4-inch core intercooler with 3-inch inlet and outlet. So we're going to run this intercooler with the excess power piping, and we're still going to use the same turbo manifold, but we are changing the turbo as well. So I've had this GTX 3582 on the car. I've had this turbo for the last 4 years, I want to say. I've had it on the red hatch. I had it on this car, and it's been through a couple motors, and it's been a trooper. This is a super reliable turbo. I just wanted to change it up and try out another new product from VS Racing that I'm now offering to sell to you guys. And it is the next gen lineup of turbo. So it is a billet dual ball bearing 6262, which is also offered in a mirror image configuration. So here is a comparison side by side of the two. They're pretty much identical. The next gen has a little bit different wheel design, and it also has the addition of a turbo RPM sensor that you can integrate. Everything else is fairly similar. I am running the same 82AR hot side, which these turbos are also offered in a 105, I want to say. Don't quote me. but it is offered in a 3-inch V-band inlet. Fucking mosquitoes. It is also offered in a 3-inch V-band inlet or T4 or T3. So my manifold is a T3. I just wanted to keep with the T382 for the Honda, but I do have another pair of these that I will be showing you guys in another video for another car. So like I said, these are also offered in mirror image configuration. So this one would be on one side, and the other side you can get it in a left or right configuration. So you can have the turbo spin this way with the compressor facing that way, or you can have the turbine wheel spin, or the compressor wheel spin this way and have the outlet come the other way. So in a twin turbo configuration under the hood, they're symmetrical. So it's really cool that VS Racing offers that now. It is truly awesome. So anyways, we're changing up some stuff on Barney. I wanted to update you guys on, you know, kind of why I'm doing the things I'm doing, and just we'll go from there. I mean, like I said, this is just something I want to do. It's my car. You guys may say, oh, you should keep the back door intercooler, whatever. I want to change it up, you know, and I feel like this intercooler will fill the bumper a little bit better than this one did, because this one had to sit in an angle, and I just think it'll look better, and I'm hoping it's going to perform just as good as this intercooler. This is a 5-inch. That's a 4-inch, I believe. Yeah, this one's like 4.5 or 5 inches, and this one's 4-inch. So yeah, I may do a comparison between, in another video if you guys are interested. I want to do a comparison of intercoolers. So my Mustang, the Chev Stang, goes 880 in the quarter. It goes 156 mile an hour. Turbo LS car has this same exact intercooler on it. So this is an EM USA. They're like $50 to $75 on eBay. It's a 2.5-inch core, so it's really kind of not that big, and it has 3-inch outlets, or 2.5-inch outlets, whatever. And it's from EM USA. It's a typical eBay intercooler. We run it on a lot of street stuff up to like 400 horsepower. Now, I think when you're above that 400 to 500 horsepower range, and I was kind of thinking I'm running into that issue with Barney, is I was on the dyno one day off camera, and I had the car on like 22 pounds of boost, and it made like 460 horsepower. I turned the boost up to 400, or I turned the boost up from 22 or 24 to like 28 pounds, and it only made like 6 horsepower difference. So definitely should have picked up more power, I think, going from that to that. And it even seemed like at the track, like I could, if I did get a pass on like 30 pounds of boost, it just didn't feel like it made that much more power. So like I said, I think the intercooler, the boost leaks on the car, the turbo might just be a little tired. I don't know. I'm just killing a bunch of birds with one stone here, and I'm changing a lot of it. So we're hopefully going to be able to run 30, 35 pounds of boost and have it actually make proper horsepower and go fast. So you guys know the goal with the car is to go 9s in the quarter with a cast nip-in piston. That is my goal. It has $110 H-beam rods in it, and it's just kind of a thrown together setup. It's not really anything I'm super like proud of building, but it has worked. I've made a lot of passes with this motor already, and it seems to be holding up very well. So we have the transmission built up. It has the M factory diff in it now, so this thing is ready for a full send, but we have to make sure everything is capable and working right. So that's what we're doing. I'm gonna get the new turbo installed, and we'll pick up in a minute. And I'm gonna see maybe if I can get some brackets on the bottom here to mount this big old intercooler. I don't know what I'm gonna have to do. I'm also gonna have to move my radiator again, because this piping is set up to run normal. So the radiator is gonna have to get kicked back normal instead of, you know, tilted at an angle like it has been. So I'm gonna have to fix that. And yeah. Another thing I actually forgot to mention that I wanted to tell you guys is I actually had 821 Bravo, Ryan. He actually TIG welded my turbo manifold back together, because I've had this manifold also the same amount of time I've had the turbo. So this manifold has been holding up super good. It's one of the Rev 9 top mount manifolds. They're like 300 bucks on eBay. They're super cheap, and it's held up great until I put it in Barney with the backdoor intercooler. So it developed a crack on one of the runners right here. You can see kind of where Ryan patched it up a little bit, and then it also cracked on the runner down here. It cracked like all along this pipe. So Ryan re-welded this for me. I can't thank him enough for helping me out on this. But like I said, I never had issues with it cracking until I had it on Barney with the backdoor intercooler. And I've just seen and had a lot of experience, I guess. It's not, obviously there's probably a lot of good setups out there with backdoor intercoolers and they work just fine. But I feel like they tend to crack manifolds easier when the intercooler is mounted up here, and when the engine torques, the coupler, you know, like it's all just attached solidly and it can't, there's no flex in the manifold. So I have better luck personally with the intercooler routing differently instead of the backdoor setup, and causing complication with the radiator. And yeah, that's just why I'm changing it. I'm selling the stuff if anybody's interested in the backdoor intercooler or my old turbo. I'll probably get rid of them. Send me an email, whatever. So thanks. We'll get this all mounted up and I'll catch up with you in a second. All right guys, so I got the Civic, but the Barney Civic all buttoned up. I actually got the turbo installed. I got my new piping installed and the new intercooler. So wanted to kind of run you guys through what I all did, some of the issues I ran into, and just kind of talk it over. So we got the intercooler mounted on the front here. I mounted it through the core support here with some bolts and some jam nuts to adjust the height. So that's all good to go. The access power piping kit did fit fairly well. The only issue that I had with it was this side was a little bit too long and it wasn't able to reach the intercooler. So I had to actually cut a chunk of the piping out back here and I shortened it up so it hugs tighter to the frame. So that way I could hook it all up and everything worked good. I heat wrapped the intercooler pipe right here just because it's very, very close to the manifold and I didn't want to like burn through the aluminum. It probably would have been all right for like, you know, just quick track runs and shit, but you know, any like long period of heat on that aluminum is gonna definitely eat it away. So I got all that installed. I got my return line installed onto the turbo. I had to get a new oil feed line because that Rev 9 Civic that I did, I actually had an issue with the oil line and it broke and I had to come here like last minute. The guy was like on his way to come pick the car up and the freaking oil line on his car started to like deteriorate. So I had to run home or run out here, grab this oil line and then run back and put it on for him. And I put 3 layers of heat wrap on it just so he could get it back, and he's been problem free ever since. I just, you know, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do in a pinch. And it's always like right when the customer comes to pick something up that you have another issue that pops up. So that's kind of sucks, but that's how it goes. Anyways, front mounts installed, the piping there, the new turbo, the VS Racing 6262 dual ball bearing billet dude is looking awesome on here. I cannot wait to fire this thing up and see how everything's doing. The up pipe was the same as the GT3582, so I just plopped it right back on. I got my manifold welded by Ryan, like I was saying. I put a new radiator in the car. This is an aluminum one out of another Civic that I have. I just pulled it out of that car and put it on here because the one I had in here was just a factory one, and it actually had a little small leak in it. So I pulled it out, put this aluminum boy in here with this freaking cap. New fan is wired in. This is a slim fan. The radiator is back in the factory position. I have my cap reinstalled. I put an 1/8 inch, I actually took one out of a junk B16 head I have. They have like set screws on the side. I pulled it out of there and I chucked it in the wastegate, and I JB welded the threads so it can't back out. Just because it's a plug, I don't really care if it doesn't ever come out, because I don't care if it comes out. What else did I do? I ran my air hose to my Mac valve. I had to replace the Mac valve. I actually pulled this 4-port valve off of the Mustang so I can have boost control again with the Civic. And I tapped and JB welded the threads on this. I drilled through the intercooler pipe, tapped it 1/8 inch pipe, and then JB welded the threads and then threaded in and let it dry. And now this guy is not gonna go anywhere. I have my line for my boost reference coming from the intercooler pipe. So I like doing it that way. It keeps everything kind of simple. Put a little bit of T-Rex tape on here because it was rubbing, just for a time being, guys. We're racing tomorrow, so I'm trying to just do some quick stuff to just get by for now. And then another thing with the access power piping kit, everything fit really good. It really did. And I believe this piping kit is probably meant for like a Victor X intake manifold, something that has a throttle body that comes out farther to the left, because I had to use this really long coupler and it's not quite long enough. So it's if I have issues with really high boost, which I might at like 40 pounds, but I don't know if I'm gonna quite run that. This coupler might have issues, but I hope it doesn't. So everything else seems really good. The car cleaned up really nice. I got my fan wired, the new Mac valve is wired in. This thing's ready to go, other than putting the front bumper back on. And I'm going to do that next. And then probably pull it off the hoist and get back to some customer stuff for a little bit. Got this really awesome EK hatch in here. Alrighty guys, got the bumper back on. It's actually bolted this time instead of zip tied. I've been running zip ties on the sides for a while, and I finally just put some bolts in there because when I slow down really fast at the track, the bumper may like just touch the tire a little bit and it breaks the zip tie like every time. So I put a bolt nut in there, and everything looks good. That intercooler looks way better in the grill than the old back door did. So yeah guys, I just got to get some water in this thing and throw it on the dyno, just make sure everything's good, and we should be ready to hit the track tomorrow. I also have to get the battery charged because the battery is dead. I got to get a new battery for this car because it is just not the greatest. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Stay tuned for some other really cool cars coming up soon. Yeah, drop a like, subscribe, and have a great night and a better tomorrow. See you later.